Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about all the bags that I actually love the look of, but I will not buy. I just recently did a video that was on bags that I thought I loved, but after I bought it, I ended up returning it afterwards. And it got me to thinking that you don't necessarily have to buy a bag that you really like the look of. It's okay to just admire it from afar. And that's what I'm going to be doing with these bags, because even though I really love how they look, there's just aspects of the usage of these bags that will not fit with my personal lifestyle. So for that reason, I don't think it's worth the money for me to actually get these bags myself to use. But of course, I do love them on other people. So there's a total of 6 bags on this list, and interestingly enough, 4 of the 6 are from Chanel. And before we get started, if you're new here, hi, my name is Carol and my channel is all about fashion, luxury, and style tips for the working woman. So if you like this video, I really hope you stick around, watch a few more of my videos, and consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out whenever I post a new video, which is at least every single Thursday. So let's get into the video. So let's start off this list with the bag that I fell completely in love with when I first saw photos of it, and it is the Filigree Vanity case from Chanel. Specifically, I really like the beige one with the contrasting black border. I just think that Chanel does the beige and black combination so well. And I was really so in love with that design and I really wanted to get it. But the first con of that bag, in my opinion, is it's only made in caviar leather. And I don't like to get anything from Chanel in the caviar leather. Of course, they do have some of the seasonal collections where it's in tweed, or there's also a PVC version of it. But aside from those seasonal collections, for the most part it is made in caviar leather. But to be honest, I was kind of trying to convince myself that I would be okay with getting that bag in the caviar leather because I just really love the look of it. When I went into the boutique, I was able to try on both the small size and the medium size, and I was more drawn to the small size of this bag just because I thought that the dimensions of it suited my body a little bit more. The medium size was a little too boxy and it kind of stuck out from my body weirdly if I were to wear the bag over my shoulder. But the problem with the small size was the strap of the bag was attached to the sides of the vanity case itself, and when you would pick up the bag by the shoulder strap, the bag doesn't really want to stay upright. It kind of flips to its side, and that just looked really awkward to me. And when you would put it on your shoulders, sometimes the bag would flip back so that it is standing upright, but sometimes it would be completely upside down. And this bag isn't cheap at all. And with Chanel raising their prices yet again, there really is no reason for me to get a Chanel bag, or actually any bag in general, if I'm not 100% happy with everything about the bag. This next bag is also from Chanel, and it's actually a fairly recent release. I'm not entirely sure which exact collection it's a part of, and I don't know if there's a specific name for this bag. On Chanel's website, it's listed as flap bag, which is also what Chanel lists a lot of their other flap style bags as. So the name itself is not super helpful. But essentially, the dimensions are slightly bigger than that of the rectangular mini. But I would say that as a whole, looking at it, it basically does look like a rectangular mini. And this bag is made in lambskin, which is the leather that I prefer from Chanel. And it's available in both white lambskin as well as black lambskin. And the difference between this bag and the typical rectangular mini is this bag has the chain that goes around the bottom of the bag, and on the chain itself there are pearls that say Chanel on it, and there's also another pearl that has the CC logo on it. So I was never really interested in the rectangular mini. I always thought that the rectangular mini was a little bit too bland and something was just missing from the bag. And I wouldn't necessarily say that the pearls on this specific seasonal bag is the perfect solution to fixing what I thought was missing from the rectangular mini. Because if it was, I would have purchased the bag. but it really does spice up the bag a lot and makes it so much more appealing to me. The issues and concerns I have with this bag are with the pearls itself, and I know that all pearls are delicate whether they're real or fake, but because Chanel uses fake pearls, there is a possibility for the top coating on the pearls to either scratch off or rub off, and what you're left with is really not that appealing or attractive. Not to mention, it's really hard to get the letters on the pearls to all face the same direction. So whereas you can style it really nicely for a photo so that all the letters are facing forward, it's not really going to look like that when you're actually using the bag. This next bag is by far the most impractical item on this list, and it is the Bottega Veneta knot clutch. I love everything about the look of this bag. I really like how it's made in the satin material. I love that little knot detail on the top of the bag that serves as the opening mechanism. I really love how it's woven in the traditional Bottega Veneta pattern, but really it's not a functional bag, at least for my lifestyle. If I had a different life where I was going to a bunch of cocktail parties or black tie events where I could use the satin clutch and pair it with a pair of satin Manolo hang easy pumps, that would be great and I would really get a lot of use out of this clutch. But that's not my life, and when would I ever use a strictly handheld clutch for my daily life? I know that they did release a slightly bigger version that has the chain attached to the clutch, but I'm actually drawn more to the smaller version of the clutch. But even if I got the slightly larger version with the chain attached to it, it would only really work for super fancy occasions, and unfortunately, that's just not my lifestyle. So yes, I'll only be admiring this bag from afar. Honestly, I have to say that Chanel makes some of my favorite designs in handbags, but because they cost so much money, it's really hard for me to justify buying one of these bags if I'm not 100% happy with every aspect of it. So this next bag is very popular on social media right now, and it is the Houndstooth Tweed Classic Flap. And I really like the look of it in the mini size especially. Like I just said earlier, I'm not really drawn to the rectangular mini usually when it is in a simple leather material because I think it's just a little bit too bland for my liking. But in the Houndstooth pattern, it takes it to a whole nother level. But similar to what I mentioned about the one with the pearls on the chain, the aspect of this bag that truly makes it unique is the one area that turns me off from the bag also. So because this is a Houndstooth tweed pattern, it doesn't wear the nicest over time, and especially on a mini size bag where you're wearing it crossbody, the fabric on the back of the bag will be rubbing up against your body and it will be the first part of the bag to show signs of wear. And that Houndstooth tweed pattern is available in the larger sizes of Chanel's flap bags, but personally I think it's a little too much of the Houndstooth pattern on the larger size bags. So even though it might wear a little bit better on a larger bag because you won't be wearing it crossbody as much, if at all even, it just really doesn't make sense to me to purchase a bag that I would feel very self-conscious wearing and would probably just end up sitting in my closet. Next up on this list is yet another bag that Chanel only makes in caviar and not lambskin. And this is the Coco Handle Bag. And the reason I never ended up buying this bag isn't only because they don't make it in lambskin. There are other reasons too, but definitely that is a factor to it. So overall, I really love top handle bags because they just really suit my personal style. Although the next bag on this list is also a top handle bag. So yeah, I'm really fussy about my top handle bags too. So the reason I never wanted to purchase the Coco Handle Bag, aside from the fact that it's made in caviar, is that handle is by far the stiffest top handle I've ever held in my hands. It's just so uncomfortable no matter how you're using it. I just feel that it's so stiff in my hand if I'm just using it hand carry, or if I have it on the crook of my arm, it just kind of digs into my skin. And even when I tried it on and I had it on over my shoulder, if I was trying to open the bag up to reach inside, the top handle would just dig into my waist also because there was no flexibility to it. And I knew that I would be so aggravated using that bag because there was no way that I could use that bag comfortably. So even though I really love how the bag looks, and I especially love those versions where they had the lizard handle on it, I just knew that that would be a bag that I would ultimately regret buying. So I saved the most controversial bag for last, and it is the Hermes Kelly bag. And I actually much prefer the Kelly to the Birkin. I think that the style of the Kelly is so much better than the Birkin. And I also like how they give you an extra crossbody strap because I don't always like to hand carry my bag. So it's nice to have that extra option. So there was a point in time a few years ago where I think I was subconsciously trying to work my way to being offered one of these bags. And in hindsight, it was not one of my smartest decisions because I ended up buying a lot of things that I liked. I might have even thought I loved, but after I purchased it, I ended up not really using it much, if at all even. And I actually did an entire video on my worst purchases of all time. And this entire category of items from Hermes made it onto that list. And if you're interested in that video, I'll have it linked up here. But that was back before I got a good sense of the types of handbags that I actually end up using and what I look for in a handbag and characteristics of handbags that I stay far, far away from. So I guess it is kind of a good thing that I didn't end up spending $30,000 or whatever amount of money it takes for me to get offered one of these Kellys or Birkins, because even though I really like how the Kelly looks, I just think that there's too much things to fuss with regarding the opening of the bag. I like my bags to look very structured and neat, I guess. So I would want to close the flap and then put the two buckles over it and then secure the turn lock closed. And that is just way too much time and way too much effort for me. I would be so irritated having to do that like 100 times a day. And I think after using that bag for a week, I would just be so absolutely fed up with it. So yes, even though it is a very iconic and classic bag, it's just not for me, but I can appreciate it on other people. That is it for this video about the bags that I really love the look of, but I will not be purchasing for myself. I really hope you liked this video and found it funny, helpful, informational. And if you did, please do give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below what do you think about these bags that I talked about today. Do you agree with the points that I mentioned or do you feel the complete opposite? Let me know in the comments down below, and also let me know if there are any bags that you personally love the look of but you won't be purchasing for whatever reason. Let me know because I'm really curious. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, definitely do consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out whenever I post a new video, which is at least every single Thursday. And I'll leave 2 videos up on the screen for you to watch next. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.